Executive Director, dear colleagues and friends of UN Habitat. We in the African, Caribbean and Pacific group of states are particularly proud and happy of our collaboration with the UN Habitats through the Participatory Slum Upgrading Program, which has now been running in 3 phases. The allocation from the European Development Fund for the phase 1 of this program, of the Participatory Slum Upgrading Program, was 10 million euros. We have seen great success and many lessons are derived of how we are to address urban poverty in a comprehensive way. This has given rise and helped in our justification that for the 11th European Development Fund cycle to 2020, 30 million has been committed. This will mean our program will now service 190 cities in 35 PSUP countries. We believe that this is getting to the heart of the urban crisis in many significant ways by, first of all, being a participatory program. It looks at the ways by which the urban situation, which continues to perpetuate urban poverty, is being addressed so that slum dwelling will in fact be abolished overall. We do speak now of upgrading in the sense that we want to see better conditions for people whose lives are affected. Therefore, within the Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 11 in particular, we are anxious to see a new phase to the program go forward. Why it is important for us to get to the root of the problem is simply that increasingly more and more of our countries will have large urban populations. This is more than ever likely as our economies shift to services-based sectors. And while we want to see the service sector play a very significant role, beyond our primary commodities, the conditions and the living environment in which people are meant to find a meaningful livelihood cannot remain as it is now for the poor. We put great emphasis on this program as it links several dimensions of how we see poverty in its structures and also in the way in which it is impacting so negatively on persons who are trying to make a living in the conditions of the urban environment. This is also important for us to take into account how we link urban poverty with what is happening in our concerns for the rural areas. Many times, the movement and the migration from the rural area is due to the fact that we have neglected to provide meaningful employment in the rural communities. And that can only be possible if we look at agriculture playing a more significant role. That will allow us to be linking with the Food and Agriculture Organization in addressing SDG 2. The approach in the ACP is not to try and find every single Sustainable Development Goal as one to which we will give project assistance, but see them in their integrated and universal application so that the cross-cutting dimensions are covered. But at the center of all of this has to be a people. And in this sense, the urban poor, growing and increasing in these large numbers, is justifiably a major focus of what we tend to do, not only in the 11th EDF, but beyond. Thank you very much, and I wish the success to the UN Habitat Conference and regret that we cannot be present with you in Quito.